I've never been a Pikmin fan. I know we talk about Pikmin quite a bit on the channel when it comes to Nintendo releasing Pikmin 1 and 2 and Pikmin 3 back in the day. I've been covering Pikmin for a very long time, but I've never been a huge fan of the franchise. It's never really appealed to me. There's been certain elements that I felt that were just weird and awkward. Seems kind of corny with the characters, and Pikmin will probably never be a franchise that I put into my top or upper echelon. But boy, was I wrong about Pikmin 4 when it comes to my own personal enjoyment of the game. I felt that it was just going to be like Pikmin 3 or the previous Pikmin games where I pick it up, I play it for a bit, I realize that it's polished, has some nice stuff to it, there's good graphics and good gameplay, but ultimately it's not for me, and it's not really going to get me excited or keep me wanting to play more. But after putting in a number of hours, because the game just launched and I just got my copy of the game from Nintendo, after putting in a number of hours, I thoroughly want to play more. This is probably the most engrossing Pikmin game that I've ever played, in my opinion at least. It does a number of things to advance and push things forward. Although be it a little bit too hand-holdy at the beginning, and it's still hand-holding, I think that once things pick up, once you start getting going, it's actually a really good experience. Now, I'm starting off at the beginning. You have the story. For those who don't know, you're playing as you. You can actually customize your own character in this one, which is definitely a benefit, and you're playing as part of this squad that's looking for Captain Olimar, who's once again crash landed on a planet, and you have to go save him. But in the process of that happening, things go wrong and you crash land on the same planet and have to collect resources and do all the Pikmin stuff that you're used to. But I have to say, why are people always crash landing? These ships are the worst ships ever. Like, every time you go out, it crash lands. Even other people crash land that aren't even part of your rescue efforts, and you have to rescue them. It seems like everybody's crash landing. They need to start building some better parts there in Pikmin world. Please, for the sake of all of your passengers and people on there, please start building better ships, because these ships, what are they, made out of paper or something like that? Goodness gracious, they're always crashing and breaking down. But anyway, that's beside the point. We still have a game here to talk about, and the game is really good once again. So the story, nothing too crazy there. You gotta find Captain Olimar, and other things happen as you go along. And I think that's fun. You know, it's a cool little story, but nothing that's gonna really rival Xenoblade Chronicles or Fire Emblem or anything like that. And I don't think anybody's expecting that, but there is a charming little story tucked away here from what I've seen so far. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of what we're gonna be talking about. And one thing that this game really does well is graphics, the look of it. It has such a distinct, like, photorealistic, but then also kind of cartoony look to it. I actually like how they blended everything. The atmospheres are really nice, some blurry textures when it comes to the ground and everything, but overall, definitely one of the better looking games from a art and also graphical style perspective. I think that everything runs pretty smooth from what I've played. Haven't really experienced any frame rate drops or anything. I think that the text and the fonts are really well done. The menus, the presentation is very solid, and the music sounds just good enough. It's got that nature sound, but then also weird little bleeps and bloops here and there. But overall, solid graphics, solid presentation, solid music for what they're trying to do in this game. Now, the gameplay is what is really important here with the Pikmin game, because you're going to be doing a lot of the gameplay. It's not a cinematic masterpiece or anything like that, although there are some cutscenes and little things here and there, but for the most part, you're going to be doing a lot of playing, and this is where Pikmin 4 just obliterates Pikmin 1, 2, and 3. This is what is going to make Pikmin. If this game is going to ascend above the previous Pikmin games by a large amount when it comes to sales or anything, it's going to be off of the back of the gameplay of Pikmin 4. The sub-level stages are fantastic. It's great to be able to pause the timer and not have to worry about it as you go down, at least at the beginning. And as you go down to the sub-levels and you can explore, you can get new resources, you can save survivors. There's just so many aspects to this sub-level, even with some of them having multiple sub-levels in there as well. So I do like that little breakup. It changes the scenery. It makes things a little bit more smaller and compact. It feels like you're really truly getting that next level of exploration. It adds that next depth that none of the other Pikmin games really had, because you had that area where you're just outside and you're collecting stuff and you're playing the Pikmin game and your combat and all that, but that was it. There wasn't really much more than that. There were some caves in Pikmin 3 and that was pretty cool, but it wasn't really integrated as well, in my opinion, as these sub-level stages are. So I do love that about the gameplay. And the gameplay, once again, is solid. Pikmin, the tutorial has out there, once again, it's a bit hand-holdy, but the gameplay is still very solid in terms of how you do things. Now, the rescuing the squad members, that's really cool, because every time you rescue somebody, you get something new. They actually add to it. So it's not just something for the plot or for the story. If you save this person, they'll be able to give you some upgrades. Or if you save this person, they're going to help you out with your radar, or going to help you with your appraising. There's so many things that they've added into this to actually have some purpose and some weight behind doing the extra stuff, the extra missions and everything, because then it's going to help you when it comes to what you need to do in the game. It's going to help you build better, upgrade your equipment, your ship. So I love that about what they've done. They've really taken that to the next level, in my opinion. Now, the battling in the game is just as good, but with Oatchi in the mix, and that guy, you can ride on top of him. You have all your Pikmin, you get different moves, you can upgrade his moves as well. So it feels more well-rounded when it comes to combat. And the combat, it's not necessarily challenging. I haven't really had a lot of big boss battles or really anything like that, because I'm at the beginning of the game. And there's been some times where some enemies smash and squish my Pikmin and kill them. But outside of that, the combat is similar to the previous games, but with new moves now with Oatchi, which is awesome. And once again, you can upgrade those, you can get new levels and learn new things in order to take out foes faster. So I love that. Upgrading your Pikmin onion and doing things like that is very easy. You have to just go out there, find it, gotta explore. And I think that's the thing that's really making Pikmin 4 just seem fun to play. It's just the exploration and how it's done. With the doggo Oatchi, you can move around quicker now. You can sniff out certain things like, hey, you want to find this treasure, cast member that you have to find. That will be able to be upgraded as well. So everything just kind of ties right back into each other, and it works really well. You still solve puzzles, you still have to get across certain places, build bridges, do all different types of things to really just explore the whole area, and that's what makes Pikmin flow, just makes it fun to play. But I think that the upgrading, the buying equipment, and having it to where you don't feel like you're just isolated, which I think some people might like that feeling if it's just Olimar and Pikmin 3, just your character that you have, Alf or whatever his name is, that's fine. But I think that now that you have like a collaborative effort, it just feels more like a game and not just like some weird Miyamoto thing that he tried to make popular or anything. I think that this feels more like a game because of the upgrading, because of the mission logs, because of the side quests, because of all the different stuff that you're tracking. It just has that flow to it, to where someone like myself, where I kind of like having different types of side quests and RPGs and in action games, it kind of brings it up to that and makes it feel more fun to play. Like you're getting a lot accomplished, not just collecting fruit and eating fruit and going up into the day and saying, okay, now we're gonna go right back and try to do this. Like it just feels more complete this time around. So far, first impressions, much better than I expected in terms of how I thought I would like the game. Way better than what I thought. I really thought that it was going to be just a nice upgrade and it was going to be better, but I didn't think I'd like it as much as I like it so far. And I think that it's the best Pikmin game that I've played. No other Pikmin game grabbed me as fast and kept me going for as many hours. Like if I played Pikmin in the past, I would play for 30 minutes, then put it down, 20 minutes, then put it down, one level, then put it down. This one, I just played straight, man. I played for an hour plus here, another hour plus there, and it really racked up, and I can't wait to go back in and play even more. I think that the structure is a lot better, and I haven't even experienced all the new features in the game, the boss battles yet, what they've done with the nighttime exploration, a lot of stuff they showed off in the overview trailer. I haven't even gotten to those things, and everything here with how Oatchi works, with how the sub levels work, with the different Pikmins and how that works, the upgrading, some of the stuff that they've added in. There's so many elements that kind of just layer on top. It feels very fulfilling to say, okay, this is exactly how Pikmin, maybe it's reached its peak, it's reached its best point, to where anybody can pick it up and play it and say, I'm gonna have fun, not just longtime series fans. So I do think that has been such a huge improvement to it. Love the upgrading in the game, love the NPCs, love more of the community and kind of trying to get everyone back together in order to solve a common goal or multiple various goals. I think that this is it. But honestly, Ochi steals the show. This pup is the best. Upgrading, getting bigger, the dog goes along with you. I think that is going to be one of the keys to where people say, okay, let me try it out, or let me keep playing and not dropping the game. And partly the reason why it got a lot of the good scores that it got. Without that dog, man, I don't think there's enough. This is as good as it is, but I'm telling you, man, ever since they gave you that dog and you can ride on top, and then the Pikmin get on top of there and you can attack that way, and then all of them attack at that point, adding new levels and layers of strategy on top of the upgrading to it. That is what it's about, and what to me really finally said, okay, this is way better than I thought it was going to be. I knew it was going to be good because I was following the game and looking at everything, but it's much better in terms of my own personal enjoyment. So Pikmin 4 for me so far, really good. Now, I will have a full review once I'm actually done with the game. Not sure how long that will take. Apparently the game is like 30 hours plus or so, or a little bit less than that. So we'll see how long I take to beat it, because I want to get everything for the most part. So I'll have more of a full review then, so I can talk about all the new elements and the other stuff that they've added in. But so far, so good for Pikmin 4. First impressions are great. So what are your thoughts when it comes to what I had to say about Pikmin 4 here? Are you planning on picking up the game? Have you checked out the demo yet? Let me know in the comment section below. And also make sure you check out my previous video on the review scores for Pikmin 4. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and we will see you for the next video. Peace.